It's showtime.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
and LJ. Today and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
And we're back.
We are back.
With our own episode, another Musical Lyrical Lingo for this week. We hope you enjoyed last week. It was a wee bit different. And we hope we didn't let ourselves down on the behind the scenes creative podcast. It sounded like we knew what we were talking about, right?
I know, and it was actually really fun going on to somebody else's. And you know, because we've got another surprise of being guests on another podcast, it kind of feels like...
They all want us at the moment, don't they?
I know. It feels like we're real proper podcasters right now.
Proper influencers, proper podcasters, proper celebrities. Like, what can I say? Roll the carpet out and get my canopies. I'm a rider. Just win no Mary Poppins now. Like, I mean, it's honestly, if they don't give me the part now, what else can I do, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to do. I was going to, what height are you?
I have a wee funny thing about my height.
Well, I was going to say, they're looking for a Michael. Do you think you could?
Height dead on. It's the weirdest thing with my height. I don't know what my height is, but I'm not tall enough. I would rather be a much taller person.
Right, well, I'm 5'9".
I'm not far off you, like... I'm my 5'10", 5'11".
Timothy, I'm 5'6" at the most. I just in my head, I'm 5'9".
No, I actually do think I'm around the 5'10", 5'11".
Okay.
I am slightly taller than you, but not when we're sitting down.
I know,
I had to readjust myself there because we looked at ourselves in the camera, and honestly, Lauren looked like she was a giant beside me.
I don't know.
It was just my posture. No, I don't mean that. Like, as in height, the height of a giant.
Okay. Yeah.
You're wearing makeup, so it's fine.
So annoying person.
I'm so past remarkable. Here's me. Portrait of perfection and all that.
Of course.
As long as I look from this side and not this side, because there's a wee bit of bedhead this side. And
right. I thought maybe you had one of those people that knew what side of your face you looked better.
No, my face is perfectly symmetrical.
Yeah.
But we're on to a tangent here that people,
I know, I was just going to say, quick, because your dad's going to complain again.
Oh, listen, I think he stopped listening again, didn't go right on with you. He did 2 more episodes and then went, stuff this.
I did shout at him yesterday. I was like, I believe our intros are too long. He says, well, I did think it was a little bit much.
That's so funny. At the moment, we're getting ourselves show ready, aren't we, Lauren?
We are. We're right in the thick of it.
Actually, by the time this episode comes out, it will all be over, hopefully, and nobody will have died. Yeah, I'm at that stage now where it just needs to happen. So it's our Stage School's end of year showcase coming up this week. Mm-hmm. So it's a busy week, isn't it? With Tech on Wednesday, show number 1 on Thursday, show number 2 on Saturday. Mm-hmm. The venue we use, you see, has to uses their own venue on a Friday night. So it means we can't get it through in one, full sweep. But
it's kind of nice for the kids to kind of have a bit of a break.
No, it definitely is, and it's good for energy levels and concentration and all the rest of it. But for me, selfishly, I just want it done.
Done. So the thing is, we could probably sell 3 nights in a row.
Oh, don't be suggesting that now.
Because everybody wants to go and see their family member, and it's very cute.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, he's actually.
No, I'm linking in where we are currently to one of the songs in our Musical Lyrical Lingo musical this year.
Okay.
This week, sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm going, it's so true. Like, we're just at that stage now where it's all a wee bit like, what's going to happen? Another opening of another show, which comes from what musical, Lauren?
Kiss Me Kate.
It is indeed. So we're talking about Kiss Me Kate, and it was only when I started researching this musical that the love for this musical came flowing back to me. I kind of forgotten what a wee gem it was.
It's special.
Yeah, I agree. But you know, when you haven't seen it or heard it for a long time, you kind of forget sometimes.
Okay, so it's kind of been shelved for a little bit.
Yeah, especially when new musicals or different musicals kind of come up, you kind of forget. But it all came back to me.
I adore this musical.
I'm in a Kiss Me Kate love bubble right now.
I'm right there with you.
I can't wait to find out why you love it so much.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That interests me. Why this one? You're half a head out of the video, love.
Oh, sorry. Well, you are moving about a little bit.
Excuse me.
It feels like you've got ants in your pants, so I'm gonna shift myself.
I'm just so full of energy
you just
and
are.
bubble.
It's like you're too darn hot and just needed to move.
Oh, there's another wee hint to one of the musical numbers. So anyway, in Cole Porter's first and only fully integrated musical,
which I did not realise it was his only full integrated musical.
Well, here is the first musical lyrical lingo for me, because I read that and went, integrated musical, what does that mean? So for anybody out there that doesn't know what an integrated musical is, the songs advance the plot, the songs flow directly from the dialogue, and the songs express the characters who sing them.
Yes.
So for anybody who doesn't know what that terminology is, that's what an integrated musical is. So most musicals are integrated, as it appears to be. But anyway, Kiss Me Kate was Cole Porter's first fully integrated musical. Baltimore gangsters muscle in on a Shakespearean actor's production of The Taming of the Shrew, one of Willie Shakespeare's hits. The show was so good, one critic dared to say it was better than the original.
I would sort of agree.
Yeah. I don't know if Willie Shakespeare would agree. On Willie Shakespeare, quite exciting that there is yet another concert version of a musical coming.
What?
What's that musical that I love it?
And
about
you
William
Francis
Shakespeare.
were talking about it. Oh my goodness, it's just slipped out of my mind.
And
Something's rotten.
Something rotten. It's coming to London for a one-night special.
Concert style with Jason
Manford. That's the only... I'm going, really? There's plenty of other people out there that could play the bard. No, I don't think he is playing the bard. Is he playing bottom?
Oh, I don't think it was mentioned.
Who actually cares? Because it's Jason Manford. Bite me. I don't rate him.
Okay.
Anyway, but that's quite exciting.
It is,
but why not?
I hope... But I hope that it will have some sort of interest then.
It blows my mind that Show Something Rotten hasn't had a West End production yet.
But again, how weird. We talked about it and then all of a sudden, the same with, guess what's going on tour? Calamity Jane.
Guess we won't be buying tickets. Me.
I will be. But everything we talk about, all of a sudden.
Yeah. So. That is a bit freaky.
I know.
Anyway, Cole Porter's shows dominated Broadway in the 1930s. I love Cole Porter, and I love Cole Porter's musicals and music.
Well, maybe for anybody that's sort of hearing us for the first time, that would be Anything Goes.
Where have they been?
One that we haven't done, High Society.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll maybe not do High Society anytime. The music's great, the show's pants.
Okay.
Anyway, but by the mid-40s, with Cole Porter's failing health himself and his wife's serious illness, not to mention his back-to-back failures of his shows, Porter's stocks were low. And he also said at the time, with the likes of Irving Berlin, who had the hits with Annie Get Your Gun, and Rodgers and Hammerstein, with they had just had a massive hit with Oklahoma. He said it made it harder for anybody else also to have a hit.
Isn't that really interesting that somebody who was so talented and successful at one point just kind of got that little frustration and felt like he couldn't break into the industry again because of these other people?
It's like anybody though, within their role. Like, you work really hard to get really damn good at what you do, but there will always be more and fresher and new people coming along, which is why you have to keep your game up. Do you know what I mean? Because it's very easy to get shouldered out of the way, and I think maybe Cole Porter kind of felt that a bit. So what did he do? He crafted an intricate show within a show structure. We've seen this before, Lauren, haven't we? It's almost like if we're failing, or if we have any doubts, let's roll out a show within a show concept.
They're writing about what they know.
That's very true.
So that's why I suppose it's easier for them to create a production around that, because they know what goes in behind the scenes, and then it's nice to kind of show that to people who maybe aren't.
And I think it's an audience's dream. Like, people who go to the theatre enjoy that kind of environment. They want to know more about that environment. Look at you and your documentaries.
Yeah,
like, you've watched every documentary about any musical there has been filmed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think
we love knowing the behind the scenes of what's going on. So Kiss Me Kate is this show within a show structure in which every song, apart from Too Darn Hot, grows organically from the story. With Porter's reputation in the doldrums, love that wee word, doldrums, I know. However, he couldn't rely on getting the big names at the time to help him. So actually, his creative team he assembled on paper is an absolute blooming disaster. So his director, John C. Wilson, was actually better known for being a producer, not a director. His two producers, this made me laugh. One was actually known for being a costume designer, whilst the other one was an established stage manager. So he basically had a costume designer and a stage manager being his two producers for Kiss Me Kate.
But then who says that they aren't suitable? Because, I mean, they're going to have background or they're going to have knowledge because they're in the background, and they're going to, like, maybe have picked up on things. So, I mean, who says that just because you're a costume designer doesn't mean you could be the next?
I'm not so sure. I think if I was going into a production or a project,
you would like,
and I was told that the two producers have never produced before in their life, and they actually are a costume designer and a stage manager, I don't know.
Well, I would take them on, because everybody for a little bit of a give it all a go. And
I know plenty of stage managers who are proper brilliant at what they do. Could be fabulous producers, to be quite honest with you. So I know I'm probably contradicting myself. Yeah. But I'm just covering my back in case they come for me, with knives. What are you saying about stage managers not being able to be producers?
Well, have you know, it's a very difficult job.
Yeah, however, the choreographer on Kiss Me Kate was Hanya Holm, who was one of the most influential modern dancers of her time. So he got a good, or an established choreographer. So little wonder when Kiss Me Kate opened, it found itself opening in the New Century Theatre, which was not quite off Broadway, but several blocks north.
It was.
However, despite all of these problems, Porter didn't seem to have found the writing of the score burdensome. Actually, between February and May of 1948, Porter wrote an astonishing 25 songs.
What?
Full of, diversity. That's the thing. When you listen to the songs in Kiss Me Kate, they are what they should be, and they, link into, Italian music, and, they're very diverse.
But they're also really good standalone songs, too.
100%. And a classic Cole Porter, full of wit.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love his music so much, because he is hilarious. Yeah. And he's not afraid to make fun or to say things in a downright offensive, witty, making fun of kind of way. So 17 of those songs actually made it into the final show, many of them marked by the delicious, naughty wordplay that Porter had made his trademark.
He really was very clever, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Was it a success, Lauren?
It was.
Good.
I enjoyed it.
Good.
And so did others. It had 1,000 performances, and it was Porter's only show to do so.
Yeah, well, that's it. People call this Porter's masterpiece, which blows my mind when his other masterpiece in my head that is notable is Anything Goes.
I know.
Do you know what? I'm like, that is a masterpiece as well.
But then I think you're right. I think you kind of forget how good Kiss Me Kate is until you're looking at it in it, watching it. I think it is maybe one of those that, there's there's maybe it's forgotten about or not actually realised how clever it is. It did win the Tony for Best Musical in 1949.
Yep.
It then went and was in West End in 1951.
Yep.
And then there was a film in 1953. But there have been many films, including the 1964 film, which I didn't know, so this was my musical Lyrical Lingo. This film was recorded for the launch of BBC Two.
Oh, that's cool.
So it had Howard Keel, we spoke about him a few times.
Him again, flip's sake.
Patricia Morrison, Millicent Martin, and I have forgotten the lovely other lady, but it'll come to me. And it's one that I would have been most familiar with and adored, and we'll get on to that. But yes, Kiss Me Kate involves the production of a musical version of The Taming of the Shrew. And if people don't know what The Taming of the Shrew is...
What is The Taming of the Shrew?
Shrew. The Taming of the Shrew. And if you're a millennial like us, you will know the film 10 Things I Hate About You. And it's basically that. Where the older sister isn't that interested in dating or marriage, but the younger sister is and kind of has to get the older sister a boyfriend before they are allowed. So it's that story.
Yeah, and it's
But it focuses on the conflict of on-again, off-again, husband and wife, Fred Graham and Lily Finesse. Also, there's the love of the supporting roles, Bill and Lois. So what I love too is that the book was written by a husband and wife team.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So Bella and Samuel Spewak, they mostly did plays, films, and they are probably most known for Kiss Me Kate. But because they had a background in plays, then I think this is why... I feel Kiss Me Kate and the behind the scenes has got it so accurate. And then it is also said that the musical was in fact based on a real husband and wife.
That's right.
Called Alfred Lunt and Lynn Fontaine.
Yep.
And they were very famous for being involved in Noel Coward's plays. Yeah. The Design for Living. And they have a theatre named after them, called the Lunt Fontaine Theatre, which currently is hosting Sweeney Todd. Even though
they incessantly argued
Yes.
Whilst performing opposite each other. But they named a theatre after them anyway.
Well, yeah, I think it was like that. I think that they were literally what you see in Kiss Me Kate is how these two people were. Yeah. So they were in a 1935 production of Taming of the Shrew. Their relationship was then witnessed by future Broadway producer Arnold St. Suber. And in 1947, he asked then the Spewaks to write the script, who they themselves were going through marital woes, and they then enlisted Porter.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Love the catchy tunes and insightful discussions on musical lyrical lingo? Why would you not? Now you can reap your fandom. Ooh, we've got fans. And show off your love of all things musical theatre with our exclusive merchandise. Ooh.
From comfy tees,
t-shirts,
mugs to stylish tote bags, we have something for every fan. Our designs are inspired by the show's iconic themes.
Because we are so iconic.
And featured playful quotes, alpha, and graphics that will have you humming along.
I will never work again.
Wherever you go.
So head over to our merch store now and start shopping. Spend your money, people. And don't forget to share your pics on our social media using hashtag podcast musical lyrical lingo merch. We love to see our fans rocking our gear.
Yes, we do. Happy shopping.
Yeah, I just think it's really cleverly written that, you know, the relationship, like the real life relationship between the two characters playing the leads kind of totally mirrors what the roles in the Taming of the Shrew are doing. So it's like they are playing what they are experiencing in real life. Yes. So that real, you know, the fact they're estranged lovers, their cruelty to one another and their history is played through the characters of Kate and, oh my goodness,
Fred.
No, that's his name. What's the name in the Taming of the Shrew? Anyway. Oh, that's going to annoy me. Petruchio or something?
Yeah, that's it.
Is it Petruchio?
I don't remember.
I'm going to have to look that up. Do you know what I also thought was interesting? For all its initial issues, Kiss Me Kate was a triumph, as we know, from the off. And it was considered, after the first night's preview or tryouts in Philadelphia on the 2nd of December 1948, it was agreed almost uniquely in the history of musicals that the show needed no big changes before it moved to Broadway.
Love that.
And like, when does that ever happen? You know, there's
Very rarely.
always changes. You know, there's always tweaks. Things are cut. New material is written in to bridge where the gaps are. The only difference was apparently 5 minutes of dialogue was cut to allow for an encore for Brush Up Your Shakespeare.
Oh, okay.
And anyone who's seen the show, that is a real highlight, isn't it? You know, it's fair to say that Shakespeare managed very nicely without gangsters. However, the Cole Porter throwing in a pair of comedy hoods also just really lifts this show. Do you know what I mean? And Brush Up Your Shakespeare is the scene where the stone-faced enforcers who end up in the theatre basically chasing a debt, you know, from a bet that was made, find themselves trapped on the wrong side of the stage curtain. So they end up telling the audience what a knowledge of the bard, what a knowledge of Shakespeare is really good for, and that's impressing women, apparently. And hence they go into their number, Brush Up Your Shakespeare, and you'll get your gal. Which is thoroughly hilarious, but an absolute pain in the arse to learn the lyrics for. And we'll maybe come on to that later.
We will.
So, shall we go under musical lyrical lingo then?
Absolutely. So I explained the first one was actually finding out that it was based on real husband and wife team. Then if we go to another opening, another show.
So,
what is your issue with this song?
It's too close to the bone for me.
Okay.
It's too close to the bone for me. The lyrics sing 4 weeks you rehearse and rehearse, 3 weeks and it couldn't be worse. 1 week will it ever be right, then out of the hat it's that big first night. And that just fills me with absolute fear, because that is an experience I've experienced multiple times being involved on the creative side of shows. And you're right, like, you're rehearsing 4 weeks prior to, it's all looking great, and then it's like something random happens, like 3 weeks, 2 weeks before the performance, and literally the wheels literally fall off it, and you're like, why is this all of a sudden really cack and rubbish? Like, we were doing okay.
We were fine 4 weeks ago.
So then you're living on your nerves because you're going, will they, won't they? And the number of times, regardless of the hard work that's been put in, you're there on opening night going, I've no idea. This will either go one way or the other. And I think I think per Dram companies, where I have most of my experience, they get a really unfair deal, right? Because you get professional companies who get a week or 2 weeks of tech, and they've got the time to settle into the space, to get everything right in the theatre that they're going to be doing it. And amateur folk get 4 hours of a tech rehearsal, and then into a dress rehearsal, and then to opening night. And it's like, so we all live on our nerves. Yeah. And we're like, will this go okay, or will this not? And I'm like, there's many a show I've gone, well, I have no idea where they pulled that out of, because it wasn't looking like that last week. Do you know what I mean? So that song does fill me with fear. It also is one of the musical theatre songs that I would ban, that I would put in my room 101. Because really? I think I've also overheard it, because it's sung at the beginning of many showcase. Concert, showcase, variety show, and I'm like, I can't listen to it anymore.
But then it works for that type of environment.
Of course, it's a perfect opening. It's a perfect opening number, but I've heard enough of it. Let's put it in.
Well, I think that is how I sort of feel about The Greatest Showman song.
Yeah, fair.
So where it's like that, here we're getting everybody together, we're going to do a big performance, let's use this song.
This is the greatest show.
And you're like,
okay, here we go.
Yeah. So, but I still like this song.
Oh, it's a brilliant show, brilliant song.
It is one of those ones that is maybe just overplayed for the likes of us who are maybe involved in it.
What did you learn from that?
Well, I obviously it would give me the understanding of how actors feel whenever they're doing a show. But it was the first time I asked what the question, like it says, another pain where the ulcers grow. And where we live in Northern Ireland, it is the province of Ulster. So I always thought that said Ulster, and then had to be, informed that it was actually ulcer, and an ulcer is...
There's plenty of pains in Ulster.
It's a secretion. It's the lining of the stomach or small intestine. So
I must have multiple ulcers from shows then. I must be riddled with ulcers. Oh, touch wood, I'm not.
No. So yeah, that's what I learned in another opening.
Well,
and I love as well that it's written as opening rather than I've written here open, but I knew what I meant.
Yeah.
So that's how you have to sing it. Another opening, another show.
Yeah.
Just to kind of fit into those bars.
Well, that was wonderbar.
Oh, lovely.
Thank you, because that's the next song that my musical lyrical lingo comes from. Wonderbar, wonderbar. It's the first Fred and Kate meet each other again for the first time, don't they? And they're like, oh, do you remember when we were singing?
Yeah, it's not that they meet each other for the first time, but it's their first time reminiscing about their past.
But they haven't seen each other for a long time until they're cast in this show.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't
It depends which one you're going with, but yeah, we'll go with the stage version.
I might be wrong.
No,
but
you're right.
they're looking back in the past and they go, do you remember that song we used to sing? Wunderbar, wunderbar.
And what is wunderbar?
Wunderbar is German for wonderful.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Did you learn anything else from that?
Just that was when I first realised that Germans pronounce their W's as V's.
Wunderbar. I did that well there, didn't I?
You did it very well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
They also sing, I think Fred sings, gazing down from the young frog.
Yeah, I had that too.
In a secret chalet for two, let us drink Liebchen wine.
Yeah.
I think.
Great. I'm
In the
glad you have
moonlight
that.
divine. So there's a few things in there. Jungfrau is a mountain in Swiss Alps.
Yeah, one of the main summits of the Bernese Alps.
It's 4,158 metres high for anybody who likes their mountains. And then Liebchen, Liebchen, and then MEIN, just in case there are people out there that are going, that is not how you pronounce that word. That's German for my darling or my sweetheart.
Yes, it is. And then I also learned from that song that a chalet was a small cottage, but not recently, whenever it was first introduced.
Yeah. There's nothing better than a wee stay in a chalet, let me tell you. So. Fred also sings We're Alone and Hand in Glove. That saying intrigued me, hand in glove.
And what is it?
Do you know what that means?
Nope.
In a close relationship.
Oh, okay. Like your hand in a glove?
Very close.
Oh.
I love tangent. Ace Ventura Pet Detective, when he's driving the car and he does a big swervy spinny thing, and then it ends up reversing into the smallest, tiniest of parking spaces between two big jeeps, and he goes like a glove. That's one of my biggest memories of secondary school, second or third year, obsessed with Ace Ventura. Me and my best mate Brent, you just used to go around just saying to each other like a glove.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious.
That's such a tangent. Let's move on. Oh lordy days. What else?
So funny. So the supporting characters, Bill and Lois, so they are struggling actors, singers, and they have been performing in clubs and stuff and doing odd jobs here and there. And then Fred sort of takes an interest in Lois. And then invites her to do the show, Taming of the Shrew. And then she sort of brings her boyfriend Bill along. But Bill isn't the straightest guy.
Oh no, he's a crook and a gambler.
He's a real gambler. So
that's actually why the gangsters end up there, because he's placed a bet, but he placed a bet in Fred's name.
He did.
And then seconded from the bet, is that the right word? Or basically ran off. So the gangsters have arrived at the theatre looking for Fred, even though it was Bill who placed the bet. Yeah. Right. So you can see just chaotic. This plot is chaotic.
It is. And whenever they're rehearsing their bows, because Fred not only is starring in this alongside his ex-wife, he is also directing. And whenever they're doing the boys, and someone goes, "Where is that Bill Calhoun?" And Lois goes, "I think he's at the chiropodist." And my dad is a podiatrist, so I always love that she said it wrong, and that, oh my goodness, they've mentioned it in a musical. And it was the first time I learned what an IOU was.
Okay.
So he says, no. She goes, how much did you lose this time? And he goes, 2 G's. 2 G's? You don't even have $2. It's okay. I did it in your boyfriend's name.
You know this really well.
I know. It's kind of a wee bit bad.
It's not. It's a glorious presentation and performance here. I am loving life. The video, you've got to watch this video on YouTube, folks. We had actions and everything there. Lauren is on fire today. I've got my V for Wunderbar, and she's got a whole scene going on here. It's fabulous.
And he goes, I did it in your boyfriend's name. And she was like, oh, do you want to go back to singing in clubs?
And she keeps going, folks. This is amazing.
And then she sings, like, Why Can't You Behave? And, I love her. Anyway.
Her songs are class.
Brilliant.
And she's really naughty. She's a naughty wee minx.
She's got a wee twinkle in her eye as well. Like, I love it. So, I learned what an IOE was.
Shall we open in Venice then?
We open in Venice.
Then on to
Verona. Then on to Cremona. Lots of laughs in Cremona. Our next jump is Parma. That dopey mopey menace. Then Mantua. Then Padua. Then we open again. Where?
In Venice. And that song then goes round in a loop.
Again.
And it gets slower.
Again.
And slower and slower. Yes. So, that was beautiful.
I
know. We're giving our listeners so much for their money today.
Such a
you
treat.
Better leave a good 5-star review
or
today.
send us some fan mail.
Yes, fan mail, please. We're feeling unloved and uncared for. We need our egos boosted.
Yeah.
They sing, just a simple band that roams about the land, dispensing folderol frivolity.
That was lovely.
Thank you, and in tune. So folderol, and then frivolity. I'm like, they're big words. So when I was playing Bill, I had to do a little bit of research to know what I'm singing. Also because I had to keep the 4 that I was singing with going. Let's keep going.
Right.
We're nearly there.
Yep.
Let's keep going. So folderol is a gaudy thing of little value or excessive efforts expended on something trivial. So much to do about nothing. Linking in there with our William Shakespeare again.
Yeah.
And then frivolity is a lack of seriousness or being lightheartedness, kind of. Yeah, so there we go.
That's good. They also mention We're Not Stars, like L.B. Mayers, and he was the co-founder of MGM.
Oh, very good.
And also Taming of the Shrew is set in Italy, so that's why they mention so many.
Loads of Italian cities and locations.
So obviously Venice is the capital of Italy.
I'm going there this summer.
Cremona is actually famous for violins.
Oh, very good.
And Parma is where we get Parma ham. Yeah, I didn't find out about Verona.
I think I am on a mission to experience and visit all of Italy before I die.
Okay.
Because I did Rome and Sorrento last year.
Okay.
We're doing Venice, Florence and Tuscany this year.
Oh, wow.
Where to next year? Do you know what I mean?
That's
Will
quite
it be
cool, though. Like
Parma or Mantua? Mantua sounds interesting. Mantua, then Padua. And we open again.
Where?
Where is the question?
Where?
Where do I open again next year?
But again, it's another great musical about touring companies, or a song about, because they are, and we knew this from our lovely interview with Francis, where you literally wake up in one city and then you do your show and then you travel to another. So you're like, where am I in 4 weeks' time?
They are just a simple band that roams around the land. Anyway, that's
Love it.
We Open in Venice.
We Open in Venice.
Any other musical? Next.
Tom, Dick or Harry.
One of my favourite songs.
So this is when Lois is in playing the younger sister in Taming of the Shrew, and she has three admirers, and I just love the description of the three men within the lyrics. So this is a brilliant example of Cole Porter's wit.
Yeah.
And if you just read the lyrics, you can get a story of Tom, Harry and Dick.
Yeah.
So it says, my purse has yet to know a silver lining. So that is just a great way of saying that he's broke.
Yep.
And then a thoroughbred patrician. Is that how I say it? Yeah, patrician.
I had that, yeah.
Yeah, which is an aristocrat. So already from those lines, you can see that one person is completely broke and one person has money, but it's his family's money.
Yeah, that's it. Patrician was like a ruling class families in ancient Rome. Yeah, aristocrats.
But like Cole Porter could have just said, I'm a pauper.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he didn't, and I just love that.
And that line, I've made a hole in all the leading rackets, from which rip-roaring rich I happen to be, and that means he's only rich because he's gambled all the time. So, just as you say, really clever way of writing his characters. I just love that song, though.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Anytime, Dick or Harry. Anytime, Dick. A dick.
Yeah.
A dick. I love that. That actually is one of my all-time favourite numbers I've ever choreographed.
Really?
We had so much fun. Because obviously it's only the three suitors.
Yeah.
And then Bianca or Lois as her actress name, and you just have so much fun. She just was thrown between the three boys, and she was loving life. It was fabulous. I loved it.
Okay, next I'm going to move on to I've come to live it wealthily in Padua. Probably not in Chin, but
very good.
I also do in this. I've written this is similar to Bless Your Beautiful Hide. Because he doesn't care if she's wearing a wig, got knock knees, cross-eyed, old or cold, got a temper, if she's going to scream or if she's going to put up a fight.
Yeah.
So it just, I think, made me have that similarity or see that comparison because Howard Kale in the movie sings this song, and then in the movie of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers sings that. So I was like, that's
nothing
interesting.
like being typecast, eh?
No, I know. Yeah. But he's literally, so this is when Fred is playing his role of, I think it is that B name you give it, but I can't remember. And he's like, I'm come to find a wife. And everybody's, maybe he could go for Kate. But he literally says, I don't care as long as she has money. Yeah. I don't care what she looks like.
Yes, he's not the best example of a man now. No. That's for sure. Hence one of the songs, I Hate Men.
I hate men.
Boom. Now, here's the thing with this song. I think it's very hard to listen to this song. You've got to see it. You have got to see it in context and see the direction of it. And then it is like show stealing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I think you don't get the full justice of the song by just listening to it on a recording. You've got to see it in action. And it's a great moment of the musical where not only is she singing this in character, but she's singing this in real life, because even though Fred and her are estranged and they sort of have had a little moment after Wunderbar where they actually go, there's still something there and we do like each other. And there's again a bit of a mix up about who sent flowers. Yes, I was going to say there's a bunch of flowers that comes. She thinks he has sent them to her. But he hasn't, and she discovers the card and she decides to open the card during the scene of
within Taming of the Shrew, and then she realizes that he, is lying to her.
To Bianca, didn't he?
Yeah, in the musical, I think she swears at him. She calls him. I don't want to say it because I think
no, don't swear. So.
But in the film, she calls him a louse.
Okay,
and it is brilliant because obviously they couldn't swear in the film. So she shouts down, she goes, "You louse!" And that's when he's gone, "Oh no!" Like he's still trying to be a character, and he's gone, "Oh no,
but I've mucked up here.
I've messed up." So then she sings this "I Hate Men," and there's so much venom, and she's throwing stuff, and it's great. Yeah,
she sings, "You may be wooed by Jack the Tar, so charming and so chipper. But if you're wooed by Jack the Tar, be sure that you're the skipper." Right?
Okay.
And I just thought it was like make up words, do you know what I mean? But actually, Jack Tar is a common English term that was originally used to refer to seamen of the Merchant Navy.
Oh, okay, right.
Clever. And the skipper obviously is the captain, is the chief. So, if you're going to be wooed by one of the seamen of the Merchant Navy, just you make sure that you're the captain,
Yes.
You're above them, you can squash them if you expose an older man through girlish optimism. That word expose, I had no idea. ESPOUSE actually means adopt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you adopt an older man through girlish optimism. So that's if you get a man by being all girly and optimistic. And then I think she goes on to tell them exactly what that older man's going to be like.
Exactly, yeah. She also says, "From China, he will bring you jade and perfume from Araby."
Yes.
So jade is a green gemstone and Araby is just what Ariba. Like
Araba.
That continent used to be called. Yeah, Ariba. There we go. Anyway. It's great when I can't pronounce stuff.
I might be wrong. Shall we move on to the one number that does not push the plot forward? But my goodness, are we not delighted that Cole Porter wrote it and put it into Kiss Me Kate? I wish we were singing it today because we've had quite nice weather this week, and actually today it's a wee
dull.
bit overcast. Maybe the sun will burn through later and it'll be a wee scorcher this afternoon, because then we can go out and sing "It's too darn hot, it's too darn hot, I like to woo with my baby tonight," because each verse is different, so I couldn't remember the first one. It's a great opener for Act 2, isn't it? It is.
So this is where the musical and that 1968 movie, 68, is that right?
She's just flipped her book. I'm sure you all heard that.
64, sorry. 1964 film differ. So I'll go into more detail. But in the film, this is sung by the Lois character, but it's sung in Fred's apartment with Cole Porter.
Oh, okay.
And it's her. And then they say, "Actually, honey, we can't fit it into the show."
Oh, okay.
But then in the stage musical, it opens Act 2, and like you said,
much better.
What
setting.
a wonderful opening, because it's all the chorus singing it.
So
because
it's their interval too, and they're kind of out the back of the theatre. It's roasting, it's warm. They've just done the first act. They're kind of like having their like reset, and then they go into this ridiculous like big song and dance number. Yeah. Where they get more sweaty and more warm and hot.
What is brilliant about it is from the very moment that you see the show opening, there is a mention to the fact it is so hot, and how Baltimore, the heat is so hot, and we're roasting here, and we're sweating, and it's just this subtle like subtext that is just every single character sort of has a mention, and then all of a sudden Act 2 opens with this massive dance, fabulous choreography about "It's too darn hot." Yeah. And I just think it's so clever how that's just been subtly dropped in, and then we've got this big
That's true. And talking about subtle subtext, shall we talk about the Kinsey report?
Oh, yes. What an eye-opener I got.
I know, me too. So the lyrics go, according to the Kinsey report, every average man you know much prefers to play his favourite sport when the temperature is low. Boom. So Kinsey report.
Well,
explain.
According to the Kinsey report, the Kinsey report is 2 books on human sexual behaviour.
Yeah.
So sexual behaviour in males was in 1948, and then the female book was in 1953.
Yeah.
Alfred Kinsey was in fact a zoologist.
Yep.
What? They then challenged conventional beliefs about sexuality.
Yeah.
Almost most of the data, though, was collected from prison population and male prostitutes.
Okay, so 100%. So basically, in recap, it's historic reports on the diversity of sexual orientation, right? Yeah. We were talking there about subtle subtext. Yeah. Cole Porter was a closeted gay man at that time, and many people think it's
euphemism
in his lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, subtle, but it's in there.
Yeah, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great song and dance number with a bit of subtle subtext. What more could you want?
We all love that. And at the moment, for those that are on socials, there is a lot of little snippets of that dance routine, Two Tar Not, for the new production.
Indeed.
That is going to be in the Barbican, which we'll talk about.
It was on a BBC One, early evening programme last week.
Yeah.
Underwhelmed, unfortunately.
I know, but I think it was. I feel like they didn't have the space.
Yeah, probably.
I think that kind of tried to.
Maybe.
But there's a lot of it going about. So you may, if you're on the socials and sort of have the algorithm showing you musical theatre stuff, you may see a lot of Too Darn Hot.
Our timing couldn't probably be better for this episode because it is about Dublin and London. But I promise you, we just plucked. We wanted a golden oldie, didn't we? Because we'd done a few wee modern ones. And it was just one of the golden oldies that were on our list. And we're like, we'll just do Kiss Me Kate. And then it's only when you start doing it, you go, oh, actually, it's actually, there's a wee revival on its way. They also sing in Too Darn Hot, Mr. Gob for his squab.
Mm-hmm. And what is that?
Like, what a random lyric, right? Mr. Gob for his squab is not... because it's too darn hot. I could go into full-on dance routine in your front room. Anyway, in the early 1900s, a gob was an American sailor. And gob also means a lot of.
Oh, okay.
And then a squab in the 1600s meant an inexperienced person.
Oh.
So, a lot of inexperience.
Oh.
Mr. Gob for his squab.
Interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it's a fab number. Mm-hmm. And then lastly, I have just Brush Up Your Shakespeare.
Well, I've got it. Yeah. I think I left Brush Up Your Shakespeare to you.
Okay.
Did I?
Well, I actually don't have a huge amount of it.
No, I did. I left Brush Up Your Shakespeare to you. I'll do my one first because I think we should end on Brush Up Your Shakespeare because we'll probably want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lois or / Bianca, it is a bit confusing when you're talking about this show because sometimes you refer to them as their actual character name and then sometimes you refer to them as the Taming of the Shrew name. Yeah. So Lois / Bianca, she sings... But I'm always true to you, darling, in my fashion. Another highlight for me in this show. I love that. And our friend Zoe Rainey actually played Bianca in the UK tour of Kiss Me Kate.
What a wonderful woman.
Yeah. She's saying, and it's all about, she's basically trying to win Bill back or keep Bill sweet or be like, oh no, but I might flirt with lots of other boys, but I do love you.
Yeah, that's it. She has
such a wee flirt.
She has been flirting, and he, she sort of did this "why can't you behave" number with him, and then he catches her, but it's also he has had that realization that he does love her.
Yeah.
I don't think at this point he's quite mentioned it yet. It's like after that he has Bianca, but
Bianca.
Yeah.
Bianca.
But she then is like, no, don't. I do love you, but even if I flirt a little bit, it's okay. I always come back to you. And it's just the way she
then,
it.
in the song, goes through lots of different men she's maybe encountered before, but he's not the one because he's not you. Yeah. So she sings, I enjoy a tender pass by the boss of Boston, Mass, though his pass is middle class, but not Back Bay. But I'm always true to you, darling, in my fashion. I'm always true to you, darling, in my way. It's so great.
As she starts, she kind of is this she's not a ditzy character, but she has that potential. You could certainly completely play it that way. And then she kind of gets more into this song, and there's that real not diva-esque, but
100%.
Do you feel it is more like that? I think
she is a bimbo with a side of diva and of seductress. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a brilliant part to play. But anyway, Back Bay was an upper class neighbourhood in Boston.
Oh.
So Boston, Mass, as in Boston, Massachusetts. Back Bay. Upper class neighborhood of Boston.
Oh, so clever.
She also then sings another one of her men from Milwaukee, Mr. Fritz, of 10 moves me to the Ritz. Mr. Fritz is full of schlitz and full of play. But I'm always treating you not in my fashion. So schlitz, SCHLITZ. I thought that was just a wee word play on a wee bit of full of SH1T.
Oh, okay.
Right? No, but Schlitz, founded in 1849 in Milwaukee, the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company became the largest American beer producer in 1902.
Oh, go you in your research. That's cool.
I know I thought she was just being a naughty girl and saying a bad word, but not saying a bad word. And listen, Cole Porter had so much more context to that lyric.
Yeah.
Go Cole.
Go Cole.
Shall we move on to the last of our musical lyricals then? Brush up your Shakespeare.
So as Timothy has mentioned, after the IOU that Bill signs in Fred's name, the gangsters come to get their debt. And Fred has no idea what they're talking about.
Because he didn't place the bet.
But he then finds a useful way of keeping the gangsters there because Lily, isn't it Lily?
Lily?
Yeah, Lily has decided she's quitting.
She plays Kate.
She's quitting and she's going to go off with her lovely new fiancé and
Which is a army general, isn't it?
It's an army general in that,
I always feel bad for the army general in Kiss Me Kate because he literally arrives at the very end of the show, has very little character profile. Like, it's literally like, we just need another man.
Yeah. So he then says, no, I'll be able to get you your money, but I can't get it until the end of the show run. But Miss Vanessa here, she is going to leave, so I need you to be her bodyguard. So then she's trapped on this stage and they come in and they're dressed as characters and they shoot a bird. It's long.
They are dressed in costume period.
Yes.
Costumes, but still have their spats on their feet. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, if you haven't seen a version of Kiss Me Kate, do go and see it because it's a comedy.
Yeah.
It is laugh out loud.
It is brilliant.
And it gets more and more chaotic as the show goes on. And it just becomes so funny.
Because at the beginning you think, there's a lot of characters here.
Yeah.
Is there the need for all of these? But they all are brilliant and they all intertwine and it's so much fun. So at the end they discover that their big boss is dead and that the debt then no longer needs paid, but they find themselves, as Timothy said, in front of the safety curtain and they're so they're looking out on the audience, so they're sort of breaking that fourth wall. It's just hilarious. So they're like, what do we know? Well, we know how to get broads, so
the girls today in society go for classical poetry. So whenever I was first introduced to Kiss Me Kate, I was really young and it was before my love of Shakespeare. So it always helped me remember where Shakespeare was born. So I always knew that he was born in Stratford
On Avon.
The board of Stratford on Avon.
So that was my musical Lyrical Lingo. They also go through an awful lot of his plays.
Literally almost every Shakespeare play is quoted in this number, which is just so clever, so ridiculously clever. Because Shakespeare's plays, some of the titles and stuff are difficult enough to like fit in, and it like the song rhymes. Do you know what I mean? It's basically a poem.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Set to music.
It really is.
But a bloody nightmare to remember all the lyrics. Like,
well, I suppose
insane. And there's about 7,250 verses. Like, mental.
It is. So that suppose leads us into our connections too. Kiss Me Kate.
That's a connection I want to forget. Like,
no, absolutely
talk about post-traumatic stress disorder.
So
like,
how many times have you sang that song?
I think I've done it twice with two different gangsters.
Okay.
Never within the context of the show, though.
Yes. So it's always been like in a showcase.
Yeah.
Well, that is one of my lovely memories of you performing that, and you were so good.
But do you know that the thing with that year, it was in one of our showcases, and we were like about, say, 10 minutes short of time. Like, for once, we didn't have enough content to fill, 2 acts. And it was very last minute of, do you know what? We'll throw in Brush Up Your Shakespeare. And I'm like, what?
Will we?
Like, I think we had 2-3 weeks maybe to learn the lyrics and obviously the moves, because there is like loads of verses. And as we've already said, then they threw in an encore. Like, they finished the number, the audience clap and cheer. And then the gangsters go, oh, we enjoyed that.
Well done again.
We were really good. They're clapping us. We'll do an encore. And they go, rush. So it was a lot to learn. So it was like, oh, God, But it was
great. He was so good. So you did that with our friend Matt, and you were brilliant.
I'm trying to remember who I did it with again. Or did Matt and I do it twice in 2 different...
I think you did it in 2 different...
events or whatever. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, so okay, and again, it's there's not very many, and actually we never spoke about them in our duos episode. They are a great duo
they
from
really
a musical.
Are, actually. And there's not a huge number of... Funny, we were talking about this in Stage School yesterday, because we've got 2 young boys who are really, really funny, and they actually themselves make a really good wee duo. And we were like, oh, they really are a great partnership. What musicals are there out there for male duos? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you're right, actually, the gangsters are a really good example of that. That's interesting that came up today, because literally I just had that conversation yesterday.
So this podcast takes us in places we never thought.
I also was in a product, choreographed and was in. That's a bit of nepotism, isn't there? I'll just do it all.
One man show.
I'll play Kate too. I hate men. To mine them. No, I did. Actually, it's quite funny. I started off choreographing and kind of learnt my trade down with a company down in Downpatrick, and we did loads of shows, like a junior show and a senior show every year. And Kiss Me Kate was the last show we did, I did with them.
Right, okay.
And I choreographed it and then played Bill, or Lucucio, as was his character name in the Taming of the Shrew. So, and I really enjoyed it, and that was the first time I really got to know the show.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I saw a really good professional version of it in the Lyric Theatre a couple of years ago as well, which was really good. But it's a really good show. I think the music is brilliant. I love Cole Porter's music, and I think because it's funny, it also kind of ticks all the boxes for me. Yeah,
I think it is. And Taming of the Shrew is maybe Shakespeare, one of his more straight plays, but he wrote comedy so well. That's why comedy fits into this sort of storyline too. Like you said, Cole Porter's music is just wonderful. But yeah, I have a real love for Kiss Me Kate. So my connection to it is that 1964 film I would have watched every week.
Oh.
Every week.
And what were you? Were you a Kate or were you a Lois?
Lois.
Were you?
Yeah.
Because I'm always gentle you down.
Because that scene that where I wish I could remember the actress's name. She's in like out of town or on the town. She's got dark hair. Anne, I think. Anyway. Caitlin, my sister, will be screaming at the podcast right now. So she sings and performs Too Darn Hot in Fred's apartment with Cole Porter. So I love that the film, they introduce Cole Porter as like writing this new musical and he has this character. She comes in with her band. She's got this fan. She's got the most beautiful pink high heels on, which are tap shoes with an ankle strap. And yes, I have bought those shoes. Previously worn them to death and no longer have them.
I actually don't think we've ever talked about this on the podcast. Like
what?
Your
love for shoes,
your issues that you have.
My issues
when it comes to footwear, like insane.
So
insane.
I know, got it from my mother. But anyway, you've got it, Anne Miller.
So
Anne
Lois Lane
Miller.
was played by Anne Miller in the film, right?
So,
okay.
If you have never seen Anne Miller, it's Too Darn Hot.
Mm-hmm.
You need to do it. So in MGM movies, they would have tapped and then recorded the tap at a later stage. So she's not actually wearing her tap shoes. But I was just fascinated the way she dances. She jumps up on the sofa and she kicks books off. Me and my sister probably did this routine, not gracefully, but did this routine weekly.
And I'm sure the front room was a mess.
Absolutely.
By the end. Sure, your mother and father were delighted.
She does this thing with a fan and she has it in front of her face while she's like tapping in a circle. I mean, it is just glorious.
This video this week is honestly one of the best we've ever shot.
So that is my connection. So it was my granny and grumps that introduced me to Kiss Me Kate.
Yeah.
So whenever we would have stayed at their house, it was always one of the videos, VHSs that we had on, and it was played to death.
See, I haven't really watched that that original film very much, but I did watch. They brought out a DVD of one of the Broadway productions of Kiss Me Kate, which I adored and have watched until the DVD's kind of broken now.
Yeah. Well, on YouTube there is the 2003 Broadway,
which I did not know until we met today. Yeah. So guess what I'm doing tonight?
I will rewatch it. Yeah. So I spent all our previous week on a day off, and I just sat and watched it. I went from the film to the pro shot,
nice,
and then listened again to the soundtrack. I just adore this, and I think part of it is, we've spoke about it before, musicals can be emotive and it maybe reminds you of something, or it helps you with a certain time in your life, or it's memories that maybe are associated with it. So I have lots of lovely memories with Kiss Me Kate.
That cast recording is brilliant though, that 2003 Broadway one, because you've got Brian Stokes Mitchell, who plays Fred. I first saw him in Ragtime.
Oh, okay.
And his voice is so booming and fantastic. But Kate is played by the legend, the Broadway legend that is Mary in Mazzy.
Yes.
Who is no longer with us, sadly. And that was a massive thing for the Broadway community and musical theatre on a whole, because vocally and as an actress and as a person, she stood 5 or 6 steps ahead of everybody else. She was just sensational, and she sounds sensational, and she was sensational as Kate in that production. So it's always nice to have things like cast recordings and that DVD of that just historically, so that people who maybe weren't are only coming to things like Kiss Me Kate now, or she was also in Ragtime, she played the mother, they can still experience that voice and that actress. That's
so special.
Yeah.
But it is such a beautiful musical. So right now it hasn't quite opened.
No, I think it's about to though.
It's still maybe in previews. It's going to be in the Barbican. Now, it's meant to be a short 6-week run, but I was talking to your dad yesterday, who has tickets.
Oh, he hasn't told me that yet.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
He has tickets.
That man.
So he is going, and Stephanie Block is in
J
it.
Block.
Stephanie J. Block is in
Who
it.
we've talked about on the podcast.
She is playing Kate, and then a lovely homegrown talent, Adrian Dunbar
from
good old Northern Ireland.
Good old Northern Ireland.
He is playing Fred, and
in his own accent, by the sounds of it, or was that just for that TV program,
I think
TV
it
show
is
that
in
we were
his.
doing?
No, I think it is in his own accent.
I think they're going to put a real spin on it.
I think so too.
I don't know how it's going to work.
I'm not sure, but we are planning on maybe being in London, and if it is still on, I will be there.
Yeah.
If I'm there by myself, I'm there by myself. So yes, I was again a little bit jealous that your dad's gone.
He's also got tickets for Imelda Staunton and Hello Dolly, so I have to go now because I am not going to allow that man to lord it over me that he's seen her in Hello Dolly and I haven't.
No, I know.
Oh, just honestly.
But yeah, so there's a bit of a buzz about Kiss Me Kate at the moment because they are doing a production of it, which is very exciting, and I do love it, and it's so magical, and there's just so much context in it, and Cole Porter is just so clever, and it just gives you a real sense of satisfaction after, because you're like, that was a well-rounded musical. The music was great, the lyrics were great, the choreography is usually great, and the storyline is just funny.
It is a shame that we didn't get more successful Cole Porter musicals, isn't it?
I know, but the ones we have, wow,
are there in history and will continue to be fabulous.
Yeah. So that was Kiss Me Kate. That was
really
so
enjoyed
lovely.
that this week.
I love that you're going to go home and watch it.
Kiss me, Kate, kiss me, kiss me, Kate, kiss me, kiss me, Kate, kiss me, Kate, kiss me, Kate, kiss me, Kate. That's what they did then.
Oh, do they? Because I'm just Kiss Me Kate.
Oh, da 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 da. Oh, I will never be. I will never be. I will never be. I will never be.
And there's some other songs that we actually haven't spoke about, and they are just as good too. So
the whole soundtrack's amazing. Like,
I would love if you go and listen to it, then let us know. So send us a wee message on our fan mail. So if you're listening on any of our podcast host platforms, you can click the little button that says send a text message, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, because you're always true to us, darling, in your fashion.
Oh, you're just so professional.
Until next week, lovely people.
Bye.
Bye.